For more on this story, we can go across to Cédric HANSEN, Secretary General at the Global Health Security Alliance and member of the French Society for Disaster Medicine. Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us here on France 24. Now, we do have educational institutions in this country that will remain shut indefinitely from Monday onwards. The French president could have announced stage 3, that would be a lockdown. He didn't. Is that a mistake?
No, it is not a mistake. It is logical not to step too early in the third level, because it is of utmost importance to keep the economy to work while fighting against the spread of the virus. You have to keep in mind that all companies will be reliable for not doing their job and not delivering what they have to deliver. So it is very important that we find a balance between protecting the population and, meanwhile, protecting the economy. And that's what we see in all countries, as a matter of fact. So it is very important to adapt the behavior of the population and the behavior of the government to the actual kinetics of the outbreaks of the COVID-19.
Now, I understand your point that there's this fine balance, leaders need to think about in terms of keeping the economy functioning. But over in Italy, we are seeing a total lockdown in place. People can only leave their homes under certain strict conditions. Are all states going to reach that point, or is what's happening in Italy an overreaction?
Well, in the ideal world, if we could shut down the entire country and the entire world for 3 weeks, then this outbreak will be over, because the virus can only survive if it jumps from one sane person to from an infected person to a safe person, and it needs to jump from people to other people. So if you prevent the virus to jump from people, and that you have all people staying home, so no social contact, then the virus cannot survive, and it disappeared. So it is really social relationships that are the key vector of the virus spread. So if you could do that, would be out of any pandemic or epidemic, but it's not possible. So we have to live with the virus.
I have a question for you, because, we did have the French president who said, no schools, shut indefinitely for now. And then he also encouraged people over the age of 60 to remain at home. What about other people who are out and healthy? Should they avoid going out at all costs?
Yes, I mean, anybody, the virus hit most likely people from 18 to 60, but it is more deadly for people above 80. So it is very clear that if you are between 18 and 60, but suffering from diabetes, from hypertension, from any kind of a chronic disease, you should avoid as much as possible contact with others. But you are safe if you are 1 meter away from your counterpart, from your the people that are around you. If you clean the place regularly, you are safe. So you can still have some social exchange and activity, but remain at a distance, a safe distance. That is the key.
But doesn't this lead to, the fact that people choose to isolate themselves? Won't that lead to panic and anxiety and a whole other host of problems?
Well, anxiety will not prevent you from catching or preventing you from getting the virus. So anxiety is not the proper behavior, but you're right, we may face that. But if you understand why you are doing this, you are doing this because the droplets that comes out of your mouth contain some virus, but within a meter, they will actually sediment on the floor. So if you are beyond that meter, then you are safe. You won't get contaminated. So isolate yourself if you are ill. If you are good health, you can have almost a normal life.
Okay.
And it's, fighting against the virus is not to hide completely, but to take safe decisions and safe behavior.
And wash your hands. Dr. HANSEN, thank you very much for joining us on the program today.
Yes, of course.